My pick for Garbage Person this week is someone who, if you don't watch the show or the segment, you probably think pops up very often, but actually doesn't. This week, mine is Donald Trump, who I'm going to make him fit in the trash a little bit better. Why, though? Because so many good reasons. It's the whole testing thing. And sure, he could have been in there any number of weeks over this, but the obvious hypocrisy and lies throughout this week about testing, it's not just wrong, and it's not just unscientific, but every time he tells a lie about the need for testing, people are going to die as a result of it. This is about as consequential a stance that a politician can have, to say, we don't need a test for this thing, when the doctors are saying, right now, that's what we've got, is we can test it, try to track it, try to isolate the cases. That's how we can, to some extent, try to limit the damage of this thing. And the president doesn't want this. And so I want to run you through just a few of the things that he's said that have resulted in him being in the can. This is a great tweet wrap-up of some of these comments from Daniel Dale. In response to the news we talked about earlier that Pence and Trump are going to be tested every day. Bear that in mind. Trump today, testing is somewhat overrated. On Wednesday, there are a lot of people that don't believe in such big testing. And on Tuesday, I don't think you need that kind of testing and that much testing. He's now going to be tested every single day. And it's not just him. The people around him have also agreed with this narrative. Take a look at the new press secretary.
Yeah, well, let's dismiss a myth about tests right now. If we tested every single American in this country at this moment, we'd have to retest them an hour later and then an hour later after that, because at any moment you could theoretically contract this virus. So the notion that everyone needs to be tested is just simply nonsensical.
Okay, so she was not chosen because she's a super intelligent person, so I'm going to explain this. There is a point between testing someone every hour and never ever testing them. A wide range of possibilities that could help to alleviate the problem.
It's all straw man. It's all fake. It's all wrong. And you know, this is the first person at that podium that I've seen where I really think to myself, you've jumped the shark. Because, you know, it was ridiculous having what's his name? The guy from Dancing with the Stars on there.
Sean Spicer.
But Sean Spicer. It was ridiculous having that happen. But he was at least like a crony. Like, he was an inside Washington person that bubbled his way up like the ooze in or the slime in Ghostbusters 2. Like, he's from inside the sewer system. Kayleigh McEnany was just like this floating nothing. I mean, and then Sarah Huckabee Sanders, 100%. Like, her name is the pedigree, and she at least she went back. I mean, he was weird, and then what's his name? The Scaramucci was insane, but it only lasted for a second. And then Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she just did that dead-eyed, I'm going to say everything normally so it seems like normal, and it's not normal.
Yeah.
But Kayleigh McEnany, 10 minutes ago, I know she made the rounds on CNN saying all this terrible stuff, but if you know where she comes from, it's just a nightmare. It is a nightmare of nothingness. And she is the one out there peddling the baseline for nonsense. The way they used to hide behind nonsense back in the day was to just not answer questions. Yeah. Now they're outright answering questions with nonsense. There is no one's saying that what she just said is the reason you need to test people. No one's saying that. No expert is saying we need to test them every minute of every day. No, we need some kind of information about who has this so we can handle it. But they want you to bury your head in the sand because why? It benefits them.
Yeah.
They want to underrepresent the number of people who have this stuff.
Yeah,
so that they can have lower numbers.
Exactly, and that's where we turn to the next level of it is the acknowledgement of why he has turned so forceful. Before he just wouldn't make the tests available, and he'd lie and say that they were. That is, I think, different than actively lying about whether we should, in theory, be testing. But he said just recently, if we did very little testing, we wouldn't have the most cases. So in a way, by doing all this testing, we make ourselves look bad. Well,
that's not what it's about.
Again, that's not true. If we didn't do any testing, we'd still have the cases. We just wouldn't know about it. And more people would die as a result of that. You idiot.
Also, if you're worried about looking bad, that statement makes you look bad. And you say stuff like
Yes.
that all the goddamn time.
Yep.
Like, how does that not ring true? How does that not go through? How are we not saying over and over again, like, you said we should look into, you looked at a scientist and said we should look into injecting people with disinfectant and the sun.
Mhm.
Your argument is invalid.
Yeah.
Like, everything after that, no human being should look at you and say that you're good at anything.
Yeah. But I just want to briefly mention, so that's why he's in the garbage can. But I saw this, and we talked about this earlier, the changing death estimates from Donald Trump. So another tweet from Daniel Dale. Trump's new death forecast, I think this is from Fox and Friends this morning, will be at 100,000, 110. That's up from him saying 75 to 100 on May 3rd, 60 to 70,000 on April 29th, and 50 to 60,000 on April 20th. And he can keep updating that tweet because this is going to keep happening. Because even though to me it seems insane that you would continually, like at least now he's saying a number that's above what we're at. Earlier this week, he at one point said a number that we had already passed would be the total number of deaths when this thing is totally wound down. Why would you keep just saying, no, I think the total cap is a number that every rational person knows we're going to hit in 3 days or in maybe a week, but they will keep doing that.
It's weird. Like, if social media is designed so I can create my own reality, why is this reality I'm living in so horrible?
That's a good point. That is a very good point. So you saw Brett's garbage person, you saw my garbage person, but we also polled the audience as we do each week. What are your garbage people? And, we got a bunch of comments and suggestions, and Angel put together a list of 4 for you to choose from. And here's how it went out. With over 6,000 votes, we had 5% for Kayleigh McEnany, who we talked about, 6% for Betsy DeVos, 4% for Mike Pence. I'm not sure exactly for what. It's just Mike Pence. 17% for Georgia law enforcement. A stunning 69% nice for all of the above. But no, we're going to give that to Georgia law enforcement there because that's the only specific one. So Georgia law enforcement, who, waited months, and let's keep it real, if the video hadn't come out, if it hadn't gone viral, there never would have been any action whatsoever. Not the entire department. I'm sure there's some good people, but as a concept, as a whole, as a structure, as an organization, into the garbage can. Could not agree with the audience more there. By the way, related to this, I did see someone saying, you said the same person can't be a garbage person 2 weeks in a row in response to me choosing Trump. Let's be clear. I said that it can't appear on the audience one twice in a row. And I didn't pick him last week. That was you guys who picked him last week. I can choose a different person each week. But anyway, thank you to everybody, the thousands who participated in the poll. I think that you chose a great selection there with Georgia law enforcement. And by the way, if you're a member of Georgia law enforcement, if you're involved in this case, do the right thing and redeem yourselves. I would love to see that. I think a lot of people would. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.